Okay, so here we are, back in the kitchen, back with the Russell Hobbs bread maker. And today I'm going to do a very, very, very simple granary bread loaf. So simple, you could do it with your eyes shut. So, back with the old bread maker. There it is. There's the bin. We've got the paddle in the bottom there. And what do we need for ingredients? Well, to be honest, very, very little. So, 350 millilitres of nice warm water. We've got 500 grams there, and I'm using the Hobbs Granary bread flour, and that has already got your seeds and all your bits and pieces in there, so that makes it really, really nice. And they do say as well on the bottom of the packet, perfect for hand baking and bread machines. So let's just wait and see. Then we've got our fast or easy or quick yeast, fast action yeast. We've got about 1 1/4 teaspoonfuls in there. I'm using the Allison's Easy Bake yeast. That cost me £1, I think it was, and there's enough in there to make 100 loaves, I think. 25 grams of butter at room temperature. Then there I've got some soft brown sugar, 1 1/4 teaspoonfuls in there, and then 1 1/4 teaspoonful of salt, and I've just reduced that down to just 1 teaspoonful of salt. The recipe for this is coming from Brilliant Bread Making in Your Bread Machine, and this book is by Catherine Atkinson. I got this off Amazon. I think it was about £5 or £6. Very simple instructions, tells you what to do, gives you 3 options of loaf size, certainly on the granary loaf here, tells you which program to put your bread machine onto. And we're using program number 3, which is whole wheat. And the program for this will take 3 hours, 50 minutes. But if you're not doing anything for the day, or you're popping out, or you're mooching around the house, doing some housework, going out into the garden, 3 hours, 50 minutes will soon disappear. As far as the loaf is concerned, I'm going to move this one here, because this is telling me small, medium or large. On this loaf, I'm actually going to make a medium loaf, so I'm going to move that to medium, and that has just changed to 3 hours 48 minutes, so that's reduced it by 2 minutes. Wow. And then you can either go for your different crust levels here. So I've got the button here, and if you select the crust, you can go for a medium, you can go for a high crust, so that's obviously a little bit browner, or not so high. But I'm going to go for that medium crust on this granary loaf. And that's it. That's all we need to do. We then need to add the ingredients into the mixing bowl, and off we go. So it tells us, place the water into the bowl. Now that is just over room temperature. It's got a little bit of heat to it. Then we're going to pop the butter inside there as well. I can't do this with one hand, so I'm just going to pause it and then come back to you once the butter is inside there. So there you go, you've got the butter in the bottom there. Then they're saying place the flour into the pan. So let's pop that in there. There we go. And you can see all the grains and the different seeds that are in that flour. I'm really looking forward to this one. Then it says place the salt at one end, like that. It says place the sugar at the other end. There we go. Make a little well in the middle. It's like playing in the sand. Add in the yeast. And that is all we need to do. That is literally it. We need to do nothing else other than pop that into the bread maker. Make sure it's in there. Close the lid. Make sure that's down firmly. obviously wiping all the flour off the top, and then start it up. That's it. We're there. Then the magic should start to happen inside there. What will happen is that will heat up. That will obviously start to melt the butter. It'll heat the water up. It'll activate with the yeast and the salt and the sugar, and off we go. So in 3 hours and 48 minutes time, we should have a nice loaf of Granary bread. We'll pop in periodically just to see what's going on, see what it looks like. But hopefully this will be another success in the Russell Hobbs bread maker. Catch you all again soon. Okay, just to update you, this is the first time we've used the whole wheat mode, and so far, if you look here, we're down to 3 hours 32 minutes. So we've already done 16 minutes and it hasn't started kneading it yet, but I can feel this is starting to get warm. So what I think is happening in this program is it's warming it up first before it goes through that kneading process. And I just don't want you to use this program for the first time and think, something's going wrong here. But when it starts kneading, we'll come back to you and I'll try and let you know how far into that program that will actually start. See you soon. So we've just started to go through that kneading process. There you go, you can see that happening inside the bread maker. It started at 3 hours 18 minutes, so it took 30 minutes for it to warm up and start to prove everything that's going in there before it started the kneading process. So don't worry if nothing happens for the 30 minutes at the beginning of the whole week program 3. Everything's good. There you go, you can see it kneading away in there. And obviously we'll go through the process now of kneading, letting it prove, kneading it again, letting it prove, and then going into that final bake. We'll come back later on and just check in, see what it all looks like. Right, down to 3 hours and 13 minutes left. And you can see we've stopped kneading for the time being. Get the glare of that light out of the way there. So yeah, it's just sitting there now again and proving and just doing what bread does, getting ready to cook. The smell at the moment is absolutely gorgeous. It's got that sort of malted granary smell, and I suppose that's where the wheat has been malted in the mills, and then those. You can smell those. It's the grains, the sort of the wheat germ, I suppose it is, that's been, what's the word, toasted or roasted as well, that's popped in there. But the malted smell is really lovely. So really, really looking forward to finding out what this one looks like and tastes like. Okay, so here we are. We are now 2 hours and 34 minutes left to go on the program. So yeah, we've burnt about 1¼ hours, and looking inside, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see it's starting to prove. It's also starting to look like a loaf of bread. It's nicely evened out into the pan. So I'm not really getting a good angle here because of the light above. See if I can get rid of that light. That doesn't help. But yeah, it's coming up nicely inside there. Just beautiful. So we're in a proving process at the moment. Then no doubt we will start to do some more kneading, and then we'll go into the bake. But we'll come back again shortly just to see if we can see what else is going on inside. Right, well, we've got 2 hours, I don't know why I keep saying minutes, 2 hours and 3 minutes left, and it's just gone through another kneading cycle. So you can see it's actually pushed it all down again, just kneaded it down. So where it had risen, it's all collapsed again, but that's part of it, that's part of the kneading and the proving. So we'll come back again later on, possibly after another hour, and just have a look to see how it's getting on. Okay, 1 hour and 38 minutes to go, and we've just had another kneading session, and it's completely collapsed down again, which obviously is what's meant to happen. So more kneading, more proving. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a lovely loaf, this one. Oh, the smells that are going on here are absolutely wonderful. We've got 14 minutes to go. We've got a beautiful loaf in there of granary bread. You can see how it's risen up, absolutely divine. 14 minutes to go before the bleeper goes off, and then we can take that out, turn it out, let it cool down, and then see what it's like. Honestly, the smell is just divine. Ta-da! Right, we're here, we're done, we're cooked. We're ready to remove the granary. So let's open the lid. Oh, it's sunk a bit this time. That's interesting. But it is hard. Looks like a decent loaf. Mrs. T isn't with me, so I'm going to see if I can just try and get this out on my own without... Oh, I can. That's brilliant. That's perfect. So let's get rid of the phone lead. See if we can tip this out and see what it looks like. Now, I did this as a medium loaf, so this wasn't a big one or a small one. Oh, hey, look at this. Just getting that caught there. Oh, it smells wonderful. There we go. That's the classic hole. I don't know if I've ever shown you that. It's the hole in the bottom of a loaf. That's one thing you do get when you make it in a bread maker, because it's that paddle that obviously gets baked in there, but it doesn't honestly make any difference to the enjoyment of the bread. And that is your loaf. Look at that. That is what I would say is a really gorgeous granary loaf of bread. Now I'm going to let that cool for the next, let's give it an hour to cool down, and then I'm going to slice it open, and we're going to see what that looks like and tastes like. But honestly, if this was smell-o-vision, it would be like you're standing in a baker's. You really would be. I'll come back to you shortly. Right then, we've let it cool down, and look at that. Look at that loaf. It's so spongy, perfectly made. You can just see those little grains of whatever it is, corn, wheat, I suppose, in there. Really, really nice granary loaf. I've sliced it. I'm just going to just quickly give that a taste. Oh yeah. That is wonderful. That's good. That is really good. That is lovely. Very, very nice. Now, I did a smaller loaf this time, and I can say that I should be able to slice that and get that in the toaster in the morning, because the larger loaves I couldn't get in the toaster. I was having to cut the slices in half. So that's about a loaf size. So I've gone for a medium loaf, not a large, not a small. I can get that in the toaster. Really looking forward to having that for breakfast in the morning. Look at it. It's very, very nice. Don't forget, don't cut it when it comes first out of the bread maker, because it will just collapse on you. So you need to start to let it cool down, because as it cools down, the moisture within the bread will actually evaporate, and then it will hold together better. So wait for it to cool before you cut it. You should then be able to get a couple of good slices out of it. Use a very, very, very sharp knife, and you're there. And that's it. That, my friends, is a granary loaf made in the Russell Hobbs bread maker. I hope you found that of interest. If you have, please, please, please give me the thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. Please hit that red button and subscribe. The more of you that subscribe, the more of these little things that hopefully we can bring to you and share. And don't forget, leave your comments as well. Tell us what you try. I'm going to do a chocolate and banana one, a chocolate and banana loaf next time. So that's the next hopeful piece of or loaf of bread that I'm going to produce for you. Listen guys, thanks for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Stay safe and bye for now.